Hello and welcome to Module 13, Lesson 1. We're going to look at the quadratic formula today. You'll be able to use the quadratic formula to find the solutions to a quadratic equation. Just a reminder, these are the things that we've done so far. We've graphed. I use the axis of symmetry. We've done square rooting, where b had to be 0 to solve. We did completing the square, and we factored to solve. Now we're going to look at the fifth and final method, which is the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is just this formula right here. You'll want to have this in front of you as you're doing your assignment for this. You're going to be using it a lot. You're also going to be using a lot of paper. All right, so make sure you're showing your work as you're doing these problems. A couple things I want you to see. Negative b over 2a, that should look familiar. It's the axis of symmetry. It's in the quadratic formula. Okay. Now, where do these a, b, and c come from? Well, you should know those from the standard form. Okay. Notice it has to be equal to 0. So let's do a couple problems. First thing you should see is this is not equal to 0. That's pretty easy to fix. Just move 6 to the other side by subtracting 6. So we now have 0 equals 8x squared minus 7x minus 15. Enter the quadratic formula. So notice it's x equals. So we're finding solutions here. A is 8, B is negative 7, and C is negative 15. So we're going to put those in the appropriate spots. When you plug them in, make sure you use parentheses. It's very important, okay? So x equals, this, you're going to need a lot of space here. Negative 7, you should be used to that from the axis of symmetry, plus or minus the square root of, there's a lot in here, negative 7 squared. And again, make sure you use parentheses. If you don't, you're going to have a negative number when you square it. If you use parentheses, you should get a good number. Minus 4 times a, which is 8, times negative 15. Over 2 times 8, which is, we'll get to that in a little bit. So first step is just plugging the numbers in the right spots with parentheses. Second step is to simplify a little bit. So negative 7 is positive 7, plus or minus the square root of. I would just go straight to your calculator and type this in your calculator with parentheses. Negative 7 squared, right? So parentheses, negative 7, close parentheses, squared, minus 4 times 8 times negative 15. You should get 529. 2 times 8 on the bottom is 16. Now we're going to do the square root of 529, which is 23. So 7 plus or minus 23 over 16. Now that plus or minus gives us our two solutions. We have x equals 7 plus 23 over 16, and we have x equals 7 minus 23 over 16. Make sure you see those two solutions there. 7 plus 23 is 30, divided by 16 reduces to 15 over 8. 7 minus 23 is negative 16, divided by 16 is negative 1. My two solutions are 15 over 8 and negative 1. If I graph that, you would see that it does cross at those points. So 15 over 8 is like just less than 2. Or sorry, just less than 2. So you can see it crosses right here, just less than 2, and it crosses the x-axis at negative 1. Okay, scale's a little weird there, but you can kind of see that. Let's do another one. This will be the last one for this video. We're going to subtract 4, get it equal to 0. X squared plus 3x minus 4. So A is 1, B is 3, C is negative 4. All right, so we're going to plug stuff in. Negative, put 3 in for B, plus or minus square root of 3 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 4, all over 2 times 1. So let's start simplifying. Negative 3 plus or minus the square root of, go to your calculator, 3 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 4 should give you 25, all over 2. The square root of 25 is 5, so negative 3 plus or minus 5 over 2. So negative 3 plus 5 over 2, and negative 3 minus 5 over 2. So we just simplify that. Negative 3 plus 5 is 2 over 2, which is 1. Negative 3 minus 5 is negative 8, divided by 2 is negative 4. Those are my solutions. Now, before I end this video, I want to show you, some of you might have seen at the beginning, there's another method for solving this quadratic. I could have factored this. The two factors that multiply to negative 4 and add to 3 are 4 and negative 1. And remember the zero product property from last week, that would mean the opposite signs. So negative 4 and positive 1, which we found using the quadratic formula. I'm saying this to show you that the quadratic formula is just another way of getting the same answer. And so that concludes lesson 1.